Hey there, Wargamers, and welcome back to another Wargames Delivered video. And today we're going to be going over how to make your own glazes. Let's get started.
Alright, and so here we have two models from the Game Master character paint set. And today, we're just going to be showcasing how to do glazes with any paint that you have in a very simple and effective way. And so to start this off, we're going to be working on the Human Rogue first. And we've got Jungle Green and some War Paints mixing medium and a lot of water here. And we're pretty much just mixing until we get a very, very thin consistency. You don't really want the entire paint to cover the whole area. You don't want great coverage. That's the point of this. We want very, very light coverage and just adding like a faint tinge of color to the blade here. So as you can see, I'm really mixing those three together, the water, the jungle green, and the War Paints mixing medium. Just really trying to get the perfect consistency here. And once you've got it to about that consistency, I would say it's about at a glaze consistency. And we will go ahead and start applying some to the model. As you can see, it kind of likes to pool in the recess areas, so you'll want to go back and just kind of pick those out with a dry brush later to just kind of keep your shadows that you established earlier. And we'll do the same thing on the other side here. And again, we're just adding like a tinge of green, just a hint of green to the blade. So we're not going for full coverage here. We're just looking to add a hint of green to the blade. So do one thin coat, let it dry, and then sometimes you'll need to add another coat just to really get that color in there. For this, I'm just kind of picking off the excess green here in some of the recessed areas and areas that I don't really want the glaze to go. So always go ahead and clean up afterwards and just kind of perfect what you started earlier. And treat the drying process sort of like you would a wash and just give it a good amount of time. And as you can see with the finished result here, we have just a faint touch of green to the blade, kind of adding a sort of implication of a poison effect, which I think is pretty awesome. And I dropped it. And now we'll switch over to a more magical glowing effect with the crystal blue and the War Paints mixing medium here. We're going to use the exact same technique and just apply it the exact same way on a different model. Now each paint's pigment is a little bit different, so this crystal blue I noticed is a little bit thicker than the green that we were using earlier. So this is going to create a bit of a thicker glaze. You can always thin this down more, but I kind of went a little bit thick with this, thicker than I normally would. I would actually thin this down quite a bit more if I were to actually use this on a model. But this is just a test, and I was just kind of trying it out. And as you can see, it's a little bit thick. It's kind of adding that matte acrylic color to it. So in the next step, I will show you how to fix this as well. Just cover the entire blade like you normally would with a glaze, give it a good amount of time to dry, and we will switch over to the next step here shortly. And of course, if you're happy with a thicker glaze, you can absolutely just use this. This is more than acceptable for the tabletop. And if you prefer this, that's absolutely okay. It's totally subjective. I just prefer a little bit more shininess on my blades, so in the next step we're going to go ahead and just hit it with a quick dry brush, and that will add a little bit more of the shine to it. And I'm just really showing off two colors in this video, but you can really use this with any color. It's a little bit tricky with metallics, but you can really use it with any normal acrylic and get pretty good results with it. This is also a great way to use speed paints as well, but I will save that for another video. And yeah, even though it's a little bit thick, we're still going to coat the entire blade and just make sure we have a nice even coat of the glaze on it before we let it dry. And as you can see, just because of the pigment of the paint and how I mixed it, it dried a little bit thicker, so we will go ahead and show you how to fix this in the next step if you're unhappy with them. Here's a comparison shot side to side. And as you can see, the blue is definitely a bit thicker, so we'll go ahead and just take some shining silver here and just do a light dry brush over the entire blade. And as you can see, we're just kind of restoring the metallic essence of the blade, so to speak, with keeping the glaze underneath. Make sure to go all the way around the blade, hit both sides of it, and try to hit it as evenly on both sides as possible. And when we're finished with this one, we'll go ahead and do just a little bit on the other blade here, the green one, and yeah, we'll see how those turn out for us. And here I'm pretty happy with the result there. Added a bit more shininess to it and dulled down the blue a little bit, so the green I'm pretty happy with as it was. So I'm just going to add a little bit of a highlight to the top parts of the blade where the light would be catching it the most. And this step is completely optional. This is just another example of another technique you can use with your glazes to heighten the effect and add a little bit more contrast and interest to it. Once we've finished up with this step here, we'll go ahead and put these guys in the light box for the final shot. And as always, guys, be sure to check the link in the description for the giveaway below. And thank you for watching. Happy wargaming, guys.